Let's start with the first questions that we have to understand more, how to boost up our role of decarbonization. I would love to throw the first question to TGO first. As the lead agency for carbon markets, how does TGO ensure trust in the carbon credit ecosystem and how are these mechanisms evolving to meet the international standards?
Okay, thank you. First of all, I would like to express my thanks to the PDT groups to invitation me to join in this conference and give a chance for the TGO to view on the carbon market view and roles of the TGOs. As you may know that at the present, the mechanism of the carbon credit, we can divide into three parts or something like, first for the international credit mechanism like Article 6 mechanism or something. For the second, we are national or sub-national credit for mechanism like for the Thailand like premium tier or something. And the last thing is international credit mechanism like World Gold Standard. It was if we can split inform the mechanism in the three parts like that. And for the marketing size, we can divide them in the four box. We are called for the voluntary box. Is it on? No. Sorry. Okay. We are called actually for the marketing. We split in the four box. We are for the voluntary box, for domestic box and international box. And in this, for the voluntary, you can use the carbon credit to be the offset and for your goal to be in the voluntary market. But for the domestic emission compliance, like they expect by the under the Climate Action Act, like ETS or something, like is for the mandatory mechanism. And the last thing is international compliance carbon market. They was followed by international framework like NDC Article 6 to approach to the NDC buyer and maybe some like CORSIA to the aviation eligible or something. It was all the frame or the common frame for the market and for the common mechanism for the carbon credit in the Thailand at this moment. Let's, if we just move to show about the carbon market ecosystem for the Thailand, we can say that we can show split in the three box or same like for the market, for the demand side and the supply side. For the supply side, we are already have to overall to supply carbon credit for in too many projects, and we the growth up of the demand side from the cooperative and company. They will grow up to absorb in the carbon offset in the carbon footprints, and that was the other thing to boost up in ecosystem. From this, it was for the NDC for the goal of the government. Like we already do some NDC action plan 342 to have the plan to reduction 47 of the carbon credit from BAU by 2035, and also have to be setting the net zero goal in 2050. That was an ecosystem, the major ecosystem for the carbon credit at this moment. But anyway, from the driving, we also doing some technical like policy and regulator driving in this like EU CBAM or Climate Action Act that we already said. In that already put in the carbon tax ETS or maybe some taxonomy systems that I think the other ones for speaker they will give you some more detail. And for the incentive that we already have some value added from the carbon pricing and tax incentive, and also have the BOI come to support in this. I think it was an overview for the carbon market in this at this moment.
Okay, thank you very much for background us or the carbon credit market in Thailand right now. It seems like we quite ready for that as well, right? So next question, I would love to ask Ms. Ivy from Mizuho, about like how Mizuho Bank integrate all the transition risk assessment into the core management strategy and how it can capture the opportunity in green finance.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having Mizuho in this wonderful event. So Mizuho, we are a Japanese bank and we are a global, systematically important bank. So we are very committed to support the economic development in Asia. And in Thailand, we have a huge exposure here. So overall, we understand that now in APAC, we are experiencing a very, fast changes and a lot of, new ideas when it comes to climate transition emerge, over the last couple of years. So I think very important thing is for banks like Mizuho, including, that for us to have a clear assessment of the transition-related risk first. So years ago, we have integrated an internal mechanism, trying to look at companies in what we call hard-to-abate sector, basically those carbon incentives, intensive sectors. So we look at, first of all, where our clients, which sector our clients belong to. So of course, for clients, in those carbon intensive sectors, we will also assess their risk from how, proactively they're responding to climate change. In other words, we are not like just stopping our, financing support to them just because you are coming from, utility sector or from oil and gas sector, then we are not lending to you. No, we take it like a more case-by-case basis. So after we measure, the progress of our clients, on their climate transition journey, we are starting to engage more actively with clients who are, relatively more ready for transition, and we are trying to understand how we can support them. Like, because when it comes to transition finance, of course, like, I'm coming from sustainable finance, we talk a lot about labor finance. But apart from labor finance, what we are also, eyeing on would be how we can really finance your transition. So broader than labor transition, labor, finance. So, and then we realize that actually there are many aspects that we can support on, like carbon credit. I think that's very relevant. And also, I think we talk about climate transition. In order to accelerate, we need, cutting edge technology. So we also leverage on our competitive edge. We have a lot of clients in Japan, in our domestic market, that they are actually the very leading technological solutions provider. So we try to, connect, solutions with the solutions, the users of those solutions. And, by connecting, both ends, we are also trying to, provide them with funding support. So that's our rationale. So in our last couple of years, we've actually seen that our clients in Asia, so from the very beginning that they are still, struggling, with visualizing their GHG emission till last year, we see there is a substantial improvement in their disclosure. So actually right now, I would say over, half of our clients, in those hard-to-abate sectors, in particular energy sector, they have not just set their targets, but they are starting to show some improvement in their carbon reduction. So these are the clients that we would love to, work more closely with. So to answer your question, this is how we try to strike a balance between risk and opportunities.
Oh, I see. That's really a great picture for us, that we can see that actually we just talked in the last session, right? That the main challenges is the finance or capital. I think right now you just give us some good example that actually bank is already been there to support. Also, next one, I would love to ask the Bank of Thailand, Kun Chananan, how about the role of the financial sector play in supporting this kind of things that gonna happen in Thailand? I would love to ask you, what is the concrete action has the Bank of Thailand already taken to facilitate this kind of the go greener activities?
Okay. Thank you very much, Kun Tina, and thank you, PTT, for inviting the Bank of Thailand to join this event. From the view of the regulators, the Bank of Thailand is a banking regulator, so actually the first thing we want to see is the stability of the financial institutions. But also as well, we want the financial institution to support the business transition to more sustainability as well. So what we like to see, there are two things. First thing is that we would like to see the financial institution integrate the aspect of environmental and climate into their operations. And the second thing is that we want the financial institution to provide enough funding for business transition. In order to achieve these two goals or what we wish to see, we have been doing 3 initiatives in this like past 4 or 5 years, ranging from the supervisory expectation, Thailand taxonomy, and the last one is the financing the transition projects. To give you more flavor of each one, because maybe it's kind of like regulators' word choice. The first one is actually is the expectation that the Bank of Thailand has set with the financial institutions that how do we want them to integrate the environmental aspect into their operations, starting from the governance, the strategy setting, risk management, and also disclosure. After we have been doing a lot of exercise of the stress test and also a lot of communication with the other banks, we found that right now the banks in Thailand are quite on the good track to support the business transition. As we can see that some banks have set more and more challenging sustainability loan or green loan each year, more and more challenging. And they integrate a lot of environmental and climate aspect into their risk management and also in their disclosure as well. And at some banks, they even like set up a dedicated executive to look after the sustainability issues. So it's quite a good sign from the Bank of Thailand views that bank is quite ready to help their customer to transform or to do the transition. Another part is Thailand taxonomy. Maybe can I ask in this room like how many people quite have heard about taxonomy before? Okay.
Raise your hand.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
This is the like max number.
okay.
Around 10. Thank you so much. Some people may think that taxonomy is something about revenue department, but actually it is not. Taxonomy is just a name that starts with tax, but it's actually a national classification system that helps classify the economic activities by its environmental impact. So we just finished our Thailand taxonomy last year, which is quite a very good news. And because we have been doing it since 2022, together with other regulators and other relevant agencies, it's required a lot of hard work, and finally we have done it successfully. It's covered the 6 high emission sector, ranging from energy, transportation, manufacturing, agriculture, building and real estate, and waste management. And we use the traffic light system going by like green is the environmental friendly activities. As you know, amber is in the transition to green, so it's been in transition to be more friendly in the future. And the red one is unfriendly to the environment. You may have questions like, why do we need a taxonomy, or what is the benefit of taxonomy? From the business side, taxonomy will help you assess your current activities, whether your activities is friendly or not friendly to the environment, and then also can guide you how to adapt yourself or change yourself to be more green or to be more friendly to the environment. For financial institutions as well, they can use the taxonomy to assess the risk more correctly and also to provide the better financial solution according to the taxonomy, which I think Mizuho is one of the leading in this area. And also taxonomy itself, if that is widely adopted, then it will increase the transparency across the market and we will align Thailand with the global sustainable finance standards and reduce the greenwashing issue as well. Okay. Oh, I ran out of time.
It's
Can
okay,
I still
ค่ะ.
go
you
on?
can,
with
you can go on. You can still go on ค่ะ
Okay, thank you. For the last one is the financing the transition project. This one is launched in August 2024. This is the initiatives that the Bank of Thailand working together with 8 commercial banks voluntarily trying to design and offer the financing products that is suitable for Thailand context. You may ask what is Thailand context. Okay, first of all, Thailand still rely a lot on the not clean energy like the fossil fuel, which according to the taxonomy we call it like red one, or sometimes we call it brown. Maybe for the sake of like more politeness, I don't understand as well.
Brown.
And the other fact is that our economy relies on many SME, and SMEs are maybe they are not as ready as a big corporate to do the transition. So under these initiatives, we work with the bank to make a product that differ from the general green loan that is already available in the market. The uniqueness of the product under this project, there are 3 aspects. The first one is that the product will help the business to move from brown to less brown in order to finally green at the end, but maybe a small step is better than a large one that maybe the SME will not be able to achieve. The second one is that it should be designed, the terms and conditions to be suitable for the SME, means less stringent conditions. And the last one, it should be scalable. I mean, the product is quite standardized so that if one SME can make a change, then another one get inspiration and then can follow suit. So under this project, the target was set together with the 8 banks at 100 billion Thai baht at the end of last year.
Wow.
And it's a good news that the target has already reached. Right now, the outstanding under this project is at 120 billion Thai baht. However, this is just the beginning. There's a lot more stuff that we need to do. So right now, we are planning to expand this project to the next step. Yeah. Maybe I stop here first.
Okay, thank you very much ค่ะคุณชนานันท์ At least you just like give us a hope that financial institution here is ready to be the booster for all the Thai company to go greener. Yes, as Miss Ivy just mentioned before, apart from the capital, the financial that, or the banks, also the bank regulators, as BOT just mentioned, that ready to support all the Thai company. I have to ask Mr. David about the technology as well, because I believe that technology gonna be one of the an accelerator to this ecosystem. So could you please share with us how can the digital transformation help or the businesses bridge the gap between setting a sustainability target and actually achieving it?
Fantastic. Now, thank you to PTT, but maybe I'll also say thank you to the audience because you're the guys who've stuck with this for the whole day, and really appreciate this because you're going to get to hear the most interesting session.
Wow.
I think, because we've got banks, we've got the regulator, we've got myself representing Accenture, where I lead our strategy practice worldwide. It's a pleasure to join you. I think your question is super interesting because what you're asking is, okay, decarbonization has sort of worked, but has it scaled? And what's really changing that's going to lead to a breakthrough that we can all do something about? And so I kind of thought about this for a second and realized that there's a lot of good news out there. We've heard a lot of good news today from many of these sessions. But often the panels have come back and they've said there's really 3 things we're trying to do with our energy system. Trying to make it sustainable, we need to make it affordable, and we also have security on our minds. And I don't think we've really ever had a time when energies managed to do all 3 of these at once. It's hard. It's hard. We emphasized sustainability a lot. 2020, 21, 22. Geopolitics changed. We emphasized security a lot. In the backdrop, affordability got out of control for some countries. But when you step back, is there something now that can be done using technology, using AI to make a difference? And I'm an optimist. We heard from the speaker this morning that the UK managed to reduce its emissions by around 50%. I'm currently based in Houston in the US, and the number there is around 40%, largely from taking coal out of electricity generation. But when I think about this industry, PTT's industry, oil and gas, the really impressive statistic is reducing the intensity of production. So still making the same amount of oil and gas, but actually making it for 20-25% less emissions. And I think that's a great step. But perhaps more can be done, because when I talk to players in the industry and others I meet, we sort of feel that decarbonization's a little bit fragile. It's tough. It's not so secure. There's this same, you asked me the same question, which is what more can be done? Can we scale? So there's still some uncertainty. And I really wanted to think about what's driving that. And I think what it is that we have big targets, we have national commitments, but when it really comes down to it, it's little small assets that need to work day in, day out. And they don't work once a year. No, these things are working 24/7, right? And at the moment, we're trying to make decisions around how do we manage this system? How do we decarbonize? When it's also not the only objective. We're also trying to make profit, trying to make returns. We're trying to have safe, reliable operations. So there's an awful lot of complexity that gets in the way of decarbonization. So thinking around this for a second, I was wondering what's going to change with technology? What might change with AI? And often companies, PTT, other leaders in the sector have focused a lot on what is my emissions? What is my report? Can I measure what's happening? Can I report it? And maybe I could even generate some sort of carbon credit or offset based on doing that. Now, with the advances in technology, what's actually happening is we're going to be in a position to really understand how that equipment is working minute by minute, second by second. AI and agentic AI is creating what I call a closed loop. So you can have the machine talking to the machine. And the critical thing here is that once you've sensed an event, once you've sensed an emission, it's not just about writing it down on a piece of paper. It's about taking an action, right? And taking action is tough because there's a lot of things happening. You're doing your maintenance, you're doing your investment, you're meeting your customer requirements. So you have to break into that system. And so what's really cool about what AI is doing and what technology is doing is giving us that visibility into where emissions are really happening and allowing us to take action. I think we can now start to see that across the improvements in methane. I think we're seeing that inside the refineries. I actually think we're even seeing it inside data centers, where we're taking minute by minute decisions around how to power those assets. So this is really a question of how can we provide that control for decarbonization to happen. And I think with technology, with AI, we now have a new tool in our arsenal, and we're going to be able to see a different outcome.
Wow, that's very interesting. I think it's like you make us visible, make all the things in the air more visible, right? And I think it's like the good background and the good fundamental for our business to start with all this kind of the technology to make us be able to quantify all the things that it needs to be done. Yeah. Okay. And next, we would love to ask about the opportunity that's going to happen from now. We would love to come back to TGO. As you are the lead agency for the carbon market, I would love to ask you how to turn the decarbonization into the business opportunity by using all the carbon credit ecosystem that happen right now.
But actually, I heard from the speaker on the stage, and very happy that, and you see that we are quite ready in various function, like for the finance, for the AI, and for the regulation support from the Bank of the Thailand. And I want to say that in TGOD also have a very good partner, like some of the people in every ecosystem that I said before. And at this moment, I think the Thailand and our partner, we are try to support. We have a payload to support in the Thailand to drive in the Thailand sustainable and for the low carbon growth through the international carbon market. And in one of the part of the thing. But the strategy that we already do that from follow by the Article 6 rule and guidance to do that. We have to have the guideline to do that, to have to develop the cooperative among and bilateral. In Thailand, we already have some bilateral in with Switzerland, and we already done the first ITMO in the Article 6. We have the bilateral with the Japanese. We have to do joint committee like the JCM. And we already also have the first ITMO to the JCM. We just from the last year. And the last thing, we already have the MOU with the Singapore, follow the Article 6. And for the next guideline on the Article 6, to have to improve the national credit standard. That's why I said in Thailand, we already have the premium tier to be the national standard. We are the one of the 33 countries that already developed and they already have their own standard for the nations. And we have to ensure the infrastructure and registry to make that transparent and integrable for the carbon credit. For you, we have to turn to the verify to the how to say that. I want to say that for the carbon credit in Thailand, all of them they have to direct to be have to some validation and verification body from the third party before you accredit to the credit. We follow by the body accreditation on the ISO 14065. That it means the carbon credit of our country or national economy is on the standard of the world because we also follow the same situation for the ISOs. Then for the other thing for the in an angle of transparencies for the carbon credit registry system. The TGO, we have the plan to do launch some connect. We are connecting with the Climate Action Data Trust or we are CAT Trust of the World Bank. The Climate Data Trust, they arouse or they show about the data or how to use and who is used to avoid the double counting of the carbon credit, and they will build up for the crediting and more trust for the carbon credit to be in the carbon credit in the Thailand. And at this moment, we also support to the premium tier to be the high standard, carbon credit. We already have the project to do some dual certification with international standard like gold standard. It can be shown that the standard or carbon credit of the Thailand can be to be the standard of the international standard. And someone already know that Corsair or they already accept to eligible the carbon credit of the Thailand to be can absorb in ICAO for use in aviation issue. And the text we also very concentrate in the HACCI or high standard. All of it is, I think it was to show that in Thailand is quite ready to not just only the cooperative in everything, and we have to be very strong body and registry that was that's why the Thailand can be to be the international in the market.
Wow. Okay. So as Kunakon just mentioned that actually all the agency in Thailand are ready to be a platform for all the Thai business, right? To be incorporative in the carbon credit system because all of the standard we are very internationalized right now. So it's kind of all the platform that ready for all the business to leverage on this and to go further, to go greener with all kind of the ecosystem that just ready for use. Okay. Yes, and next I would love to ask Ms. Ivy once again, if we talk about the blended finance, what role does the blended finance play in de-risking the climate project? And can it truly lower the capital cost enough to accelerate the global transition?
Thank you. So I think this is a million-dollar question, like how to really lower the funding cost. So
Yeah.
we have come across this kind of question from our clients from like really frequently. So I think in order for us to address, this question, I think first of all, I think in Thailand or even like broader across Asia, I think thanks to regulators like Bank of Thailand setting out, definitions. So I think there is no lack of clients that are willing, to align with, regulatory requirements in defining the green or transition eligibility. But I think, of course, from clients' perspective, is always, looking for ways where they can reduce the cost of funding. From a bank's perspective, we assess risk from a multidimensional perspective, including market risk, credit risk, that kind of things. We love innovation, to put it this way. Like we love to hear, like David just mentioned, integrating, AI on measurement, validation, or even in some projects, I think the application opportunity of, AI are there. But how we try to strike a balance between innovation and proven track record. So for banks, we clearly need to have more certainty around revenue stream, for new projects. So, but, in order for us to really de-risk this kind of new project innovation, let's say, for example, green hydrogen, right? We understand how to define like a hydrogen project as green, but in order for us to, get more certainty around credit, and also I think what is more important is, for any new projects where, the proven track record of the revenue streams are not there, we need a blended finance model, which is, strategically combining public and private, capital together. And also, let's not forget that with this like private partners, private, and public partnership, there is also the role for philanthropic, money to come in. So we need to, really combine, first of all, the concessional funding from public, entities, for example, and also from MDBs, DFIs. So they come in and provide what we call a first loss capital in order, to kind of provide some assurance on, the principle of private investor can be protected. And then secondly, it is also important to see some sort of guarantees in play. Like whether it's a credit guarantee or political risk guarantee, we need to see this kind of guarantee in order to get the risk premium, lowering a bit. And then after this kind of funding mechanism in place, then gradually the private investor they will see more room for them to really play a part in this entire blended finance model. And then when we talk about blended finance, there's also a very important aspect, which is the technical assistance. Sometimes we need maybe like some philanthropic funding to support some sort of technical assistance grant. In order to really build a more like a quality sort of fundamental for those projects. In particular, when we talk about like legal frameworks, like we need this kind of technical assistance, to assist, the project developers, to really to solve, some legal issues like legal challenges, and I think now we've talked about like multiple stakeholders, right? So that's why there's challenges, right? We talk about blended finance is a hope, definitely, like a going forward for us to facilitate, or mobilizing more capital into, climate projects. But let's not forget that there are still like, challenges that we have to overcome. In particular, right now we are seeing like there are still limited, public or philanthropic, funding, pouring, into resources, into those climate transition project. So we need to work closer together. So I think in the previous panel discussion, I think we heard the panelists repeatedly emphasize one thing, which is collaboration. We need a very, well sort of orchestration of this blended finance model, pulling in multiple stakeholders to work together, because the essence of blended finance is always about how you're going to blend, things. The blending, the art of blending is the key question for us to address.
I see. So on the ground, when risk is reducing, you can lower the cost of financing, right? So everything back to basic.
Yes.
And that is the importance of collaboration to make all the risks reduce.
Only if, every, players play their part, and then this, mechanism come into play in an effective manner, then there will be, possibility for us to lower the funding costs.
Okay, I see. Thank you very much on this. Moving on to Kun Chananan from BOT, how I would love to ask you about preparation for the Thai businesses. How should Thai businesses prepare themselves to effectively access the climate or sustainable finance so they can seize the opportunity and avoid falling behind in the transition toward the low carbon economy?
Thank you for the question. Drawing from our experience, I would say there are 3 suggestions that to help business to better access the climate and sustainable financing. First of all, is about data. Data collection is, I would say, very fundamental or the foundation of everything. To build a solid foundation of data, not only in your own business, but also please extend across the supply chain as well, so that you can capture all the scope 1, 2, and 3 of the GHG emission. By having this clear and verifiable data on your own emission and also your supply chain, your business will be in much stronger position to demonstrate the commitment and readiness for the transition. And this data-driven approach not only support the access to the funding, but also identify areas of risk and opportunities throughout your operation as well. From data as a beginning, then we move to taxonomy again. I still suggest that please understand and use the taxonomy, because this quite an important step, because if you can familiarize yourself with Thailand taxonomy, which actually I give the QR code here, if you want to see more in detail, please go ahead, but don't be panicked when you first see how complicated it is. We have to go through some complexity to see the benefit.
Yeah.
The beauty of the taxonomy. So the taxonomy will help you assess the environmental friendliness of your activities and whether you are green, amber, or red. And when you know yourself, then the taxonomy will guide you on what kind of technology advancement that available in the market, or what kind of standard international practice that can help you reduce the GHG emission. And also it also guide you on the timing of your plan. I mean the decarbonization pathway of your business as well, because the taxonomy is built on to be in line with the national goal and national plan. Yeah, as you have heard that our NDC is 15 years, how to say, faster, right? But Thailand taxonomy itself already built for the in line with the Paris Agreement, which is our new NDC. So you can rely on that. And the third suggestion is that after you got the data, you know the taxonomy, you know how to classify the environmental friendliness, then you should develop a transition plan. And it's very highly recommend that if you can align your transition plan with the taxonomy, this will ensure that your transition plan will in line with the national or the country picture or perspective as well. And this taxonomy aligned transition plan is a crucial information if you want to seek the sustainable finance, right? Because the bank and investor also want to ensure that their money goes to the sustainable activities, and the taxonomy alignment will ensure that your green and their green is the same, or amber, your amber and investor or the bank's amber is the same, and this will reduce the greenwashing dispute. I know that the journey to decarbonization is not easy at all for everyone, but it's doable, even though we have to put in a lot of efforts. From the Bank of Thailand, we want all the business to capture these opportunities of the green transition. So we would like the bank or the financial institution to be a great supporter of the business. So right now, we are opening up the sandbox for the commercial bank in Thailand to test run the green-related business, which is not allowed right now under current regulation. But we plan to amend the banking regulation to allow the commercial banks to do more on the green-related business. For example, to be GSG calculator, verifier, to be carbon credit broker dealers, and to give some green advisory. Because in order to transition, funding is important, but only funding is not enough.
Yeah.
Because we need a lot of awareness and the knowledge of technology and everything. So to conclude, there are 3 key issues that I would like to address today is the data collection, understand taxonomy, and develop a transition plan that align with taxonomy. And you are not alone, because within this year, the bank will be able to provide more tools to support you to the decarbonization beyond just the traditional funding.
Wow, thank you very much. Or in order to start a good preparation, scan this on the, QR code is just gone, but you can search on the Thailand taxonomy to prepare for your business, as Kun Chananan just mentioned before. Thank you very much for this good suggestion. Last but not least, David, I would love you to close the session with the questions that actually on the first session we just mentioned about that, because every company treat going greener is like a cost that we have to pay. But from your experience, what is your recommendation that all the business need to move beyond and treat all this thing as a strategic opportunity to improve efficiency and drive a long-term business growth instead of look at it as a cost or burden?
Okay, see, you give me a hard question, right? Everyone else gets an easy question about why this is all good news, and then I get this hard question, but I'll do my best.
Okay.
But I think you're onto something, and I was thinking a little bit, is it really a cost? And perhaps it's a little bit more like buying insurance, because you're protecting against the downside risk. You're asking yourself, how can I can I stretch out my value chain into the future? Can I maintain my right to operate? Can I manage against the regulation? So I think it's been, if I'm fair, I think it's been okay, right? People need insurance, and this model has delivered improvements, I think, in cost, in efficiency, and some of the value that probably needed to happen and would have happened anyway. Question is now, can we turn this around? Not just be defensive, but actually make a business from this. And that means you actually step back and you ask, well, why isn't it a business today? Now, some things, fossil fuels are just kind of too good in today's technologies to be replaced. The other economics don't work. But there's a lot that can be done in decarbonization if businesses can see the value, if they can perceive it. Now, the value today is a bit fragmented. It shows up a little bit in maintenance, it shows up a bit in logistics, it shows up in compliance, it shows up a little bit with the customer. Businesses haven't been able to get their hands around that value and to be able to say, this is what this is worth. Now, as I mentioned AI, and you've asked me to talk a little bit about it, something about AI is that it just reduces the complexity of doing business. It's going to provide, if you have the right data, it can provide that visibility to take decisions across functions and across businesses. And so that excites me to say, I think we can do something different. I think we can see that value in one place, and as a result, we can move forward. So you said it was $1 million question. I think it's a multi-billion-dollar question. And so my kind of humble attempt is I think the $1 billion lie in these 5 areas, if you will, where we're going to see AI and technology make a real difference. And so the first one is here, carbon intelligent value chains. You don't just want to decarbonize a single asset. That's okay, but what you're really trying to do is decarbonize how you produce energy and how you deliver energy and how you use it. So that means decarbonizing your system. So the first thing is you've got to connect these value chains. You'll look at reliability and efficiency and carbon together. So number one is decarbonizing the full value chain. Will have a lot of value. The second, and we've heard a lot about CCUS today. The thing about CCUS is the infrastructure cost is so expensive. You need to be able to share it. You need to be able to look at it in terms of your portfolio. Second thing that technology is going to help us do is to drive up the utilization of that infrastructure, to share it, to get the economics down. So second, low carbon infrastructure. Bet on this. Third, I'll come back to methane platform. I think the single greatest thing the oil and gas industry has done to decarbonize is methane. It stood out as a really great improvement. It's commercially viable in many cases, and it is the most important gas to get rid of. We're now seeing improved capture technology. We're using satellites, we're using AI, and like I showed earlier, we're actually acting on that to make a difference. So solving methane, solving the platform, there's money in it because every molecule of gas you capture, you can sell. So really, really good to do that. The next one is new demand. New demand's happening all the time, and with decarbonization, we should be going after this. Data centers.
Wow. Just change the microphone, please. Thank you.
Data centers are asking for low carbon power. Not zero carbon, because they recognize it's pretty impossible to have that, but low carbon. Technology is going to provide that because you can optimize across the different sources. You've got gas, you've got renewables, maybe you're going to have geothermal, maybe there'll be some nuclear. You'll get that picture. And then finally, the value of the carbon molecule itself. Every time you're buying energy, you're actually buying energy and you're buying carbon together, but you're not pricing it differently. The Deputy Prime Minister today asked that question. He wanted to know how much was the carbon content of the gas that he's putting into his car. In the future, technology is going to allow us to tell that story and to create a market for it and create value. So the carbon molecule itself is going to have a monetary value. So I think I want to come back to that. I'm very optimistic that we have a future in front of us where we don't just need to treat decarbonization like a cost or like insurance. There's a lot of value out there to be had. You've got the financial institutions which are really helping lay out the frameworks for you to go after that. And with that, I thank my panelists, thank you, and thank you for a fantastic day here today.
Wow, it's really impressive closing remark here. Thank you very much, David, and also thank you very much all the speakers for sharing the practical insights and real-world perspective to boost all the Thai businesses and ASEAN businesses to go greener together for today. Please give a big round of applause to our distinguished speaker here. ขอบพระคุณมากๆค่ะ